Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Honest Concepts Podcast. My name is Bronson Long. I'm here with my instructor, Master Autry.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you today?
Doing great.
Good. I'm so glad to hear it. It has been really hot.
Yes, sir.
It's been like 2 weeks of
I'm
hot.
staying in air conditioning.
It's been wild, but I'm so glad we're able to come back in here and do this today.
Absolutely.
So you and I, we meet up every Tuesday around 7:30 Eastern time.
We do.
And we get together and share our thoughts and experiences on a plethora of subject matter. So every week we have new topics. You know, 1 week it's my turn, 1 week it's your turn.
Right.
But this week's kind of special because this was a viewer suggested topic.
That's right.
And I think it's a really good one.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good one.
We can thank Mr. Pool Mike for this
Thank
one.
you, Mr. Pool Mike. Shout out to you. So this is actually exciting. You know, you and I, we've known each other for a long time. So I was very,
Right.
very little. But our relationship changed when I was around 15. You
Sure.
became my martial arts instructor. And over the years, we've kind of grown up and you've taught me a whole lot of stuff. And now I'm lucky enough to sit here and do things like this with you, or get to hang out with people and just talk about good things.
Sure.
And what's really cool about this is that, you know, even though our relationship started through the martial arts, you taught me so much more than that. And so this show is really more than our walk through martial arts, but
Right.
more importantly, our walk through life. So our life has changed a lot over the past couple of years. Everybody's life has. And one of the things that is cause of that is social media.
Absolutely.
It is everywhere now. Everything has got an app to it, and everybody is on social media, regardless of who you are. There's something you've got out there, you know, whether it's Pinterest or whatever, you're on some type of platform. And because it's such a huge thing where everyone takes part of it, naturally, it's caused changes within our society, within social dynamics. It has really left an impact. And so tonight, I don't know if I'm going to take a hard stance on whether it's a good thing or it's a bad thing, but I can definitely share my experience on how it's impacted me.
There you go.
Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. Social media for me started when I was maybe 7 years old. I was in fourth grade, so I wasn't 7. I was probably closer to 9. I was in
Okay.
fourth grade, and the big platform at the time was a thing called MySpace. It was huge. And back then, everything was about just your own little space. You had a little page, you had your pictures, and when you click on somebody's page, it had a song that would play. It was like your own little intro, your own little
Right.
theme music, you know, and it was very different, you know, whereas today it's less about that, and it's more about influence. Today, social media has really changed in regards to monetization. And that's where my big impression of social media is currently, is once I started to get involved in content creation, YouTubing with you and some other things I do on the side. I edit for a handful of creators out there, and I began to look at everything differently. And people on Instagram, people on Twitter, people on TikTok, they all get paid.
Yeah.
You know, not all of them, of course,
Right.
but there's some people out there that make some decent money.
Yeah.
Now, some people make a living, some people make way more than that. And it's kind of tainted my view on a lot of it. It's hard for me to look at posts anymore and feel that this is a genuine statement coming from certain individuals, because I know that no matter what you're posting, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, what's the most effective way for me to get as many views, as
Right.
many clicks, as many likes, as many shares, so that I can make the most amount of money on this that I possibly can.
Yeah.
And I think life's always been that way in some ways, right? It's always been about the money, right? Everyone's always trying to sell you a class. You got some friend you haven't heard from in 15 years, calls you up, says, I've got a great opportunity. You know, it's
Yep.
some type of pyramid
Exactly.
scheme or something. It's always been there. But before you sold your business, people would sell their business. You know, I wash
Right.
cars, and this is me selling my product to you. Whereas now we are the product. We're selling ourselves. You know, when you're on social media, it's, you know, you want to have the best filters and the best editing for your pictures because you want to earn that like. You want to earn your place in the algorithm. Your wording is so important, the spacing in between your words, and it's even the rhythm. If you watch really good YouTube shorts, they don't just talk to you. There's a cadence in between their words, their spacing, and it's so different now that we're not just selling a business and a product anymore, but almost everyone on there is trying to sell themselves as a product.
Before social media, and I was just young.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember there was no internet and stuff, naturally. You used to call somebody. Let's say you live in South Carolina. Well, I'll use this example. My aunt she used to live in South Carolina. Her name was Sadie. So I would drive down when I was 16 years old, see my cousins. I would drive back. Excuse me. She said, when you get back home, call me and let me know you got back home safe.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay. Well, back then, if you call somebody out of state, they charge you for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you had a collect call. You'd say, this is Rich Autry calling Miss Sadie. And will she accept the charges? And she would say no. And they would say, well, you can't be connected. Said, okay, that just let her know that I was home. That was communication back then. Right. Or you know somebody, you send them a letter. I was at the mall, I can't tell you when. It's been years and years and years ago. Excuse me, guys. One of my friends just got a new phone, cell phone. I walked by and he was looking at ESPN on it. Mm. I was like, what? He said, I can get ESPN on my phone. I said, let me see this. I looked at it. I was amazed. I came home and told Ms. Alter, we're going to the mall. I'm going to buy me an ESPN phone. And I did. But, look where it's come from now. Right. Is it good? Is it bad? It just depends whose hands it's in.
Right.
I say this, and I say this with all due respect. Let's just say there's this little kid. He's, I don't know, high school. He plays baseball. His mom and dad buys him a brand new baseball bat, right? He takes that baseball bat, goes to his first game, he hits 2 home runs, a double. Everybody's like, man, I love that bat. That's a good bat, man. You picked out a great bat. Yeah, you did great. On the way home, it falls at the back of the car, and it lays on the side of the road. And let's say you and I are not good people. We walk by and we see that bat. We're like, hey, we found a baseball bat. Look at, man, this is great. And we use it to break in cars and break windows. It's the same bat that got praised.
Wow,
it was the same bat that got praised. Now, you and I, if we're bad people, are using it to break in cars and rob stuff out of cars.
Well said.
Nothing changed, but it's the people that used it. Wow. Bottom line. That's how I look at it.
Well said. Very, very, very well said. I'm going to let that marinate. That was good. That was really good.
I thought about it this morning.
Thank you. Miss Jenny says, since I am in the middle of your age group, I'm curious of the different views on this. Yeah. Miss Jenny says, I was in the paper beeper phase. Yeah, no, the beepers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, pagers and beepers. It's evolved so much. Honestly, one of the greatest things I think social media has done for me in particular is give me new perspective on different things.
Right.
I can't tell you how many things I've learned just from, really honestly, most people don't consider YouTube as social media, but
right.
That really has kind of become that over the last couple of years.
Sure.
As some of your favorite channels can leave posts,
Sure.
It's not just videos and stuff like that anymore. They can leave polls and all. It's interacting with their
right.
communities. So it's kind of social in some ways. But I learned how to repair a washing machine on YouTube. I've learned how to change car parts on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so much help from there. And there are people on social media who I've learned all sorts of new things from. And one thing that I really, when you texted me this topic the other day, I really switched up my algorithm on my social media. I wanted to look at something different.
Right.
Because, what you like is what you like, and what you view is what you view.
Exactly.
And the internet says, "Ooh, you like that? I'll give you more of that, so you can stay on our app, so we can run more ads and make more money."
Right. And you can look at I can look at a watch or something on the phone, and it pops up on YouTube.
Oh yes, yeah.
Commercials.
Right. You like that? Here's
Yeah,
more. Keep
right.
watching. More ads.
Exactly.
More money. Which hey, that's get your money. You know what I mean? I understand it, but I wanted to switch it up and look into the views of other people. And so I did. And so I started looking into what the younger people are saying on the internet. And I got to tell you, I learned just sitting there listening to them and talking, or not really talking, but just listening to them talking back and forth. And I think that's one cool thing that social media offers is that I'm not at the age anymore where I'm going where the young people are.
Right.
I'm not at the club. I'm not at a park or whatever. I'm working. I'm at home with my wife and kid. And so I'm not in the areas that would allow me to be involved in their social bubble. So I don't really have my finger on the pulse of what's going on with the younger generations. I'm not at the places where the older generations are, you know. I don't, it's just not in my schedule right now to be in those places.
My granddaddy would say, you were stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I go to work, go home, and go to work and go home.
Stuck.
Yes, that's what I do right now. It's a great stuff.
Yeah,
It's a blessing.
right.
It's certainly a blessing. But, you know, because you're not able to go to those places right now, I don't have my finger on the pulse of, I don't know, a Gen X or the Boomer generation, and I certainly don't have my finger on the touch of Gen Z or the Gen Alpha. So it's cool that you can get on social media and see those things. Right. One of my favorite things to do, really, truly, if you go look at any song on YouTube, basically, I don't know, what I normally listen to is the 70s stuff. Right. I'll go to anything 70s. Yeah. Well, I was listening to some Smokey Robinson the other day, scrolling down the comments, and I wasn't in tears, but I had like this emotional feeling where I'm reading all these comments of, oh, me and my husband used to dance to this song back in 1978 or this and that. And just, you get to go down their memory lane. That's really, really cool. Yeah. You know, it gives you a touch of perspective from other groups.
And not that the roots are not deep now, don't get me wrong, but the roots really deep back then because you didn't have social media. Mm-hmm. You know, if you wanted a letter, you would write a letter to you or whoever you're writing a letter to. Go get a stamp, put it in the mail. You'd get it in 3 days. Write a letter back, and you wait for it to come back. Right. It might take you 7 days.
Right.
You know, and things were a little more wholesome. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not saying they're bad now, but it's different. It was different. The biggest thing for me, I mean, I guess, is there was a lot of people using that baseball bat for the good, and a lot of people using that baseball bat for the not so good.
You're right.
So.
Yeah, and it certainly happens. Is that it's a lot of power.
Yeah.
It's a lot of power. I mean, I don't know what it was like before the year 1997. It's impossible for me to know. But I do know that from 97 to like 2005, there were probably maybe, I'll be very generous about this, I'm going to say less than 1,000 people on the entire planet of Earth that when they spoke, 50,000 people listened.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd say less than 1,000.
Oh,
I think that's fair.
I would too.
Today, it's probably a lot higher than that.
Sure,
tens of thousands of people have a voice that
different countries too.
Oh yes, absolutely, reaches the masses.
Yeah.
That's a lot of power.
Yeah.
You know, and it can be used for good, and it can certainly be used for bad. It can be used for gain. It can be used for loss. I mean,
just like that baseball bat.
You're exactly right. It's just like that baseball bat. That was a wonderful analogy, by the way.
But you know, I remember my uncle. It was, gosh, I was only probably 10, 11 years old. He tragically got killed in a car wreck. But he carried me to his work. He said, let me tell you something. He said, one day, this whole world is going to run off computers. He was a computer guy back then. Here was a computer size of your wall, this whole wall back here. Had these big old spools on it. He said, this is a computer. He said, it's going to be able to do everything down the road. I didn't know what he was talking about. I just wish he could have lived to see it.
Right. Oh, it's an impressive feat. Yeah. I mean, it's impressive.
He was groundbreaking. He loved it. He loved his computers.
Yes, it's something else. And you think, I remember my grandmother telling me I was in 5th grade doing some homework, and we were talking about computers, and she said that my grandfather used to work at some place, I don't know where it was post office, I'm pretty sure, some type of mailing center, a large building.
Okay.
And she said that they had a computer there, and it took up about the size of a wall.
That's
it was
what
massive.
Yeah.
You know, and then here we are today. I can fit one in my pocket.
Right.
You know, and it's just powerful. It's insane. And it doesn't slow down. That's the wild thing. It doesn't slow down the advancements, and I think that's, in some ways, you know, for myself, by the time I was born, there were microwaves. We had cable TV, or at least local TV. But there was no such thing as like 3G internet, 4G internet.
Right.
You know, things weren't what they are now. But it took some time. You know, things took time to come out and to progress.
But do you think it's better now than it was 10 years ago? Overall.
I think yes and no. No and yes, if that makes sense. I mean, better is a hard word to say. I mean, there are certain things that my wife and I have learned on the internet that saved our dog's life one night. Our dog accidentally ate something it wasn't supposed to eat. I dropped something on the floor, dog ate it, and we were able to Google something really quickly.
Right.
We didn't have to pay for an ambulance. We didn't, no emergency bills.
That's good.
That's pretty cool.
Right.
That's really, really cool. I mean, there's people who've learned how to fly planes just by going on the internet and learning how to fly a plane. I mean, it's incredible. The bad thing is that it is so fast. Going back to those YouTube comments I see, they're not talking about the song. I can't even remember which Smokey Robinson song. It was Baby Come Close.
Okay.
The Smokey Robinson Come Close.
Great song.
Wow, he can sing. And the comments in the section, no one's necessarily talking about Smokey. No one's necessarily talking about the song itself. They're talking about when they hear the song, what they feel, what they remember feeling. And most of it is people talking about, man, Sunday after church, we'd get in the car, we would go cruising.
That's like what we did.
It wasn't, nobody was saying we went home and listened to it. They're saying, we would cruise and listen. So we just drive around, enjoy the weather with the windows down, or barbecues with the family and sitting outside. Things that didn't sound fast. Things that sounded like as if it was wholesome, genuine, kind of like a crock pot. Took its time and it got it cooked right.
Man, we'll go off the limb and say this probably, but there's more anxiety with people today because of that.
Yes.
It's the anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ms. Autry and I, when we first got married, things were just relaxed. We'd get off work, excuse me, we'd go for a ride, go out to eat. Like you say, play the music, just ride around for a couple hours. Come back and just relax. But now we're on watching the phone, we're watching social media. Not that it's not good, but the anxiety is there. You look even the young kids. The other day we were out eating, there was like 3 kids and the mom and the dad.
Right.
3 kids just doing that the whole time with their fingers watching their phone. Never said anything. Right. I remember going sitting down eating with mom and dad. We talk, about school, about baseball, about if you're playing golf, whatever. That's what we talked about. And they are missing that. But are they getting more knowledge? They probably are.
Sure.
So it's it was called what you want.
There's a trade. There's a trade. And actually, it's really cool that you said that, because I catch myself doing it sometimes too, especially because it really started when I started editing for people.
Right.
Is that I want the videos to do well for the people that pay me money to edit the videos.
Sure you do.
And so I spend a lot of time on the internet looking at what's the new trending sounds, what's the new trending effects, what music are people using, and trying to really plug into that and stay on the cutting edge. And you look at it, I don't want to miss out on the new joke, on the new meme, on the new sound effect, on the new viral video, because I can use that and it'll make that person's video do well, and it makes my portfolio look nice, and now my editing can really pick up.
Sure.
And so there's a little bit of what people call FOMO, the fear of missing out on that. And I think a lot of us are in that way because things develop so much all the time. Politically, things develop. Globally, technologically, things are always developing all the time. Or you can open up your phone, put it down, 20 minutes later, pick it up, something new happened, And so there's this fear of missing out. And then I understand it. I really do, because I feel it. But then you think about that family that you're talking about, the dinner table. What are you really missing out on? You look up and everything's gone. Your parents are gone now. You're older. I mean, it's like life just slips you by.
Ms. Autry and I, for the last, about 3 weeks, I guess, I'd come in, wake up in the morning, hit the couch, and just start going through YouTube or, news or whatever. The last 3 weeks, I've quit doing that. And I very seldom cut TV on. We just listen to music. And it's just more relaxing. It really is. Just the last 3 weeks, I can tell a difference. I mean, I've never been a keyed up person, but, things are just more relaxed. And I've enjoyed it more. It's almost like going back in time a little bit, but it's still there if you need it or you want it, Right. But we've enjoyed this. We've eaten more dinners home because when I'm working and stuff. I've enjoyed it. I told Ms. Autry today, I've never enjoyed eating so much at home in my life. It's just fun. We both cook, and it's just nice. We spend a lot of time at the house, and it's just I don't want to eat out. Right. We went to Chick-fil-A today for the first time probably in 2 weeks. I was like, I used to love it. I don't miss it.
Right. Right. My hope is because really it's my generation that we grew with it, and then the next generation was raised into it. So really my generation, more than anything, who not necessarily spearheaded, that's more kind of the millennials, but we were right there with all the developments. I mean, we've been there the whole time. The next generation behind us, it's almost like they're getting like this pump draft, like they're following us because we're moving so quickly. But it looks to me, I hope I'm right personally, it looks to me like some of this, almost like a fad, is slowly starting to go away. I saw something this morning on social media, actually, that, do you know, have you ever heard the word Riz? Do you know what that is? R-I-Z-Z. Essentially, it's kind of like a Rico Suave. You're very, you're fresh, you can flirt, and you're successful when you flirt, you know what I mean? You're smooth cat, right? Sade's smooth operator, right?
Yeah. And she is
smooth operator. She can sing. I saw something today. It's talking about these young kids are doing something they're called Riz dancing. And I open up the video, and what they're doing is they're slow dancing. The girl's got her arms around the guy's shoulder, he's got her arms around her waist, and they're just rocking back and forth and slow dancing. And all the comments are making fun of them. They're like, really, they think they invented slow dancing? Are you serious? We've been doing this for generations, you know? And they're all kind of clowning them and everything. But I saw a few comments down that I genuinely agreed with. It's like, hey, this is a win. You know, 3 years ago, people didn't dance anymore because everyone was so scared to do something, get caught on a video, and get put online. But it seems that things are slowly but surely starting to kind of get back to a different way. I think we're realizing that it's not good for man to be alone. You know, it's not good to live in solidarity. You need interaction with people. Sunlight is good for you. It's good to go to the park. It's good to have friends and to play things together. You don't have to be a D1 athlete, you know what I mean? But at least being outside with people. And I could be wrong on that, but I do think, and I have high hopes, that as time goes on, social media will be less of a need. The internet and everything will be less of a need. You know, people following this pump draft that my generation started. And it becomes more of just a tool. Something that you use when you need it. If you're looking for entertainment, it's there. Education, it's there. But ultimately, the greatest thing that we can have is community with each other in real life and not on a screen.
With you saying that, it's almost like, and it's true, everything goes full circle. And that's what that's what you're telling me. I feel like, you know, you start here, what we did back in the 70s and 80s, whatever, mostly 70s. Then it went to the 80s and 90s and 2000s and 10s and 20s and 2025. Pretty soon it's going to go back a little bit to the 70s. Not all the way. But, you know, it was nothing any better than taking an 8-track tape and putting it in your car, windows down, me and Ms. Ultra riding around. You know, but it is full circle. You know, your life goes full circle.
It sure does.
It really does. In the beginning, you know, you kind of relax stuff. You get keyed up, you do all this stuff. As you get older, you slow down a little bit. And then when you get really older, you start enjoying the simplest things in life. You know, I mean, we'll just sit out on the back porch, watch the sun go down with a glass of tea and sit there for 3 or 4 hours still talking. And it's just simple. And I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world, you know.
That's so cool. That's actually, I'll never, ever, ever forget this. My grandmother, she died a few months ago. She was just a really cool lady. You know, she's the one that taught me how to read a clock, and you know, just little things like that. You just don't forget. She taught you certain things. And we're sitting on her front porch at her house one day, and it starts hailing pretty hard. You know, big old pebbles of hail coming down. It's the first time I'd ever seen hail, and I was like, man, that's neat. I've never seen that before. And while I'm just observing it, watching it fall down, my grandmother just starts laughing and laughing, you know, from her guts laughing. And me and my cousin are looking at her like, man, this is kind of weird. What are you laughing for, you old crazy lady? And we looked at her and was like, Grandma, is it funny? And she said, guys, when you've come as close to death as I have, as many times as I have, she was a cancer survivor. She said, you find joy in the strangest things. I'll never, ever forget her saying that. And I think about that all the time. Every time it hails and I think about her, just find joy in the strangest things. And, you know, that is something that is real life. You know, real life has an end at some point in time.
People are missing out, and a lot of times they don't know it.
You're right.
I mean, I'm not saying that go back and live in the 70s, but you know, I've seen families sit at a restaurant. Me and Ms. Ultra at a restaurant, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. We were sitting there, and I watched this man and woman and 2 kids. They ate the whole meal, never said a word to each other. The husband and wife didn't, the kids didn't. I'm like, I mean, how do you sit there with your family and not talk? No. What was that?
Said they were on their phones.
Oh, but they never said one word to each other.
Yeah.
Not
That's
one
just
word.
wild to me.
You know, we go out and eat mom and dad and stuff. Me and my two sisters, Dad said, well, how did baseball practice go? Dad, it was great. Well, then they'll ask, my sister was a cheerleader. How did the cheerleader go? Dad, we did this new cheer. Well, what is it about? He was get excited.
Right.
And I didn't even like cheerleader, but I was, tell me about it.
Sure.
You know, because it's part of it, you know. It was just a group session.
Right, it's
you know?
camaraderie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just watched that whole family sit there. I'm sure they were a nice family. I'm sure they were. But they didn't say one word ever to each other. I sat there and watched them for 30 minutes.
Wow.
I probably wasn't talking to them so long.
That's funny. That is so funny. Let me come up just a little bit. Sorry, I got way down there. You guys have been talking quite a bit. Mr. Pool Mike says, to me, social media's greatest power is to influence others either positively or negatively. And you're right, it does have that power that you really can do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can say something bad and just ruin somebody's whole day on there.
Sure.
There's a lot of people whose days are ruined every day.
Absolutely.
So they are grumpy. And you know, I get that way too sometimes. It's
Did you
easy.
see this guy at this concert the other day?
Oh yeah. Yeah. They have cooked him alive on social media.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm not laughing at that. 'Cause
That's
it's
funny.
Not funny, but
Yep.
yeah.
Positive and negative.
6 seconds. of his life.
That's hilarious.
But you know what? If he'd done the right thing, he wouldn't have been that way.
That's right. That's right. Ms. Jenny says social media can be used for good, but I wish today's society would slow down every once in a while and appreciate the positivity they have in their lives. Relish in what makes you feel good. Wow. Relish in what makes you feel good is something that I think is a big takeaway from that. You know, people tell you all the time, when my wife was pregnant, they were like, soak it up. I heard so many adults tell me that. Soak it up, enjoy it. You know, while the baby's young, be a sponge, soak it up and just enjoy it. Because before you know it, that baby will be walking and talking. And goodness gracious, I showed you guys a video a minute ago. She's you know, mumbling and talking, and she's it goes by so quickly.
It does.
And I'm glad that, you know, thanks to you and Mrs. Autry, I've learned to listen to people who are older than me. Because they know what they're talking about.
Right.
You know, most of them do at least. And I really tried to just enjoy those moments. Just hold that baby and put everything else away and just enjoy it. And just a moment, who knows how long a moment lasts. I don't know how to determine that.
Sometimes I'll see an old person, you know, like me, an old person sitting on the side of the road or sitting in the restaurant or wherever, standing in line at Lowe's. And I'm thinking, this guy's probably 75, 80 years old. I wonder what stories he could tell. I just like to go get a cup of coffee. So to sit down and tell me some stuff.
Right.
Tell me some cool things that happened
Right.
to you. You know, people just go by him all the time. Look at that old person. Right. These young kids. Just look at this old person. He's an old man. He should be at home. He's probably got more stories, good stories, than you'll ever have in a lifetime.
That's right.
You know, but I've seen that before. I was like, I'd love to talk to this guy.
Yes. And that's one thing is that the older I get, the more I'm like, man, I had a great grandfather who lived to 103. He was born in like 1912, I'm pretty sure, something like that. And I just like, now that I'm this age, I'm like, man, I wish I could have asked him so much stuff. I mean, the things he'd seen. How many wars have you seen? You've seen drafts, you've seen plagues, industrial revolutions.
What was your first car?
Right. I'd love to just hear these stories, you know, but you just don't know what you have until it's gone. It's interesting. Connor Rain says, there's a lot of good information and entertainment, but there's also so much of what we call brain rot. I'm afraid no one knows how to be bored, sit in silence, or use their creativity. Sitting in silence has got to be one of the greatest things of all time. Yes, Ms. Autry. Yeah. Yes. And that's one thing I don't get to do the way that I did when I was younger. There were so many times I just sit in the kitchen or in the living room or wherever and just stare out the window. Or as a kid, and your mom's driving you down the road, just staring out the window, and you are just learning about life every second of the way. You're thinking about all the most grandiose thoughts you can possibly imagine. And it's rare for me to get into that deep zone of thought the way I used to, because there's just so much around me all the time. But man, I do remember really enjoying those times.
Yeah.
You know.
I think as we get older, we all do that. You know, I mean, I think we would and should and probably did.
Right.
But you know, I mean, I'd sit there sometimes in the dojo, like we talk about. I'd just sit down after everybody left. Next thing you know, it'd be 2 hours. I'd just sit there, just thinking. or sitting at a restaurant. Ms. Audrey was working full time, and during the daytime, I would do a private lesson. I would just go out and sit in a restaurant. I've sat there as long as 2 hours just drinking coffee, just thinking, you know, watching people.
Yeah. I think that's a very healthy thing to do, really. I don't know how to describe it. I'm not a scientist, but it does something to you. I don't know if it calms you down or just
that's what I think.
Calibrates you.
Yeah. Your brain just slows down and just enjoying what you're looking at or thinking about. Yeah. Because most times it's good thoughts.
Right, it is. Yeah. You're just lost in it.
Exactly.
Just, and thoughts just carry on. Just you know, it's pretty cool. Very good word there, Miss Rain. She says, I find myself feeling like I need so many things to have in my life. Be aesthetic, because ordinary is no fun to film or take pictures of anymore. Oh, yeah, that's so true. Yeah, nothing can just be normal anymore. So many houses. We went to go buy a house a couple years ago. The internet caught on that I was looking for houses, and so the YouTuber showed me all these they're just marvels, and you walk in, you touch the wall rolls down into the floor, and there's a secret room, and geez Louise, I heard somebody say one day, can we just normalize normal houses again? Like it's okay to have a normal house, and a lot of things are like that, but it's honestly, it's genius marketing. You know what I mean? If you're a luxury car company or whatever you are, and if you have a society of people that desire the most and the best and the highest and the most expensive, you did a great job marketing.
It's like people just try to outdo everything, no matter what it is. Years ago they did too.
Sure.
But now it's like on steroids.
Right.
They try to outdo each other with the TikTok and all these people, these girls, these guys get out there. They want to outdo everybody.
Right. And it's on every level. It's
Exactly.
everything.
It is.
My grandmother probably had the same cast iron skillet for 40 years.
Yeah. Most grandmas did.
No need to upgrade.
Right.
This one works fine.
Right.
And
cooks biscuits and gravy just like it did.
everything you need it to do.
Exactly.
It does a great job.
By the way, Ms. Autry, well, mine's some biscuits.
Those are great. Yeah, those are great. Pool Mike says, Smokey, I'm about at the end of my rope. I can't give up trying. I can't give up hope. He's talking about Smokey Robinson. Yeah. Miss Jenny
He's a
says,
music buff too.
is he really?
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Miss Jenny says, I have learned silence is not the enemy. It is one of the best things that you can have in your life. My brain never stops, and when it does, it is the best feeling ever. You're right. Oh, you're so right. It's kind of like, oh, wow. It's so true, Miss Jenny. You ever hit the brakes on your car a little hard? The car stops, but you're still going. And once the car stops, you kind of, sometimes you got to stop your brain. And when you do, it's like all the things you haven't had time to think about just come crashing behind you like you slammed on the brakes. Once everything stops moving, you can, just relax for a minute.
Right.
You got a good point, Miss Jenny.
That's a great point.
Very good point. Ms. Connor says, teaching your instructor what Riz is wasn't on my 2025 bingo card. You're funny. Let's see. Pool Mike says, hey, Sensei, take a position here, positive or negative impact. If you're going to force my hand, I will. Okay.
Well,
ultimately, I just have to go positive. I wish I could say negative because there's just so many horrible things about it. There's just so many bad things. But ultimately speaking, there's so much good that's come from this. My brother lives in Germany, and I can speak with him. When he was in the military, his son could speak with him. There's so many cool things that it has to offer. And cool is really a shallow word for it. Helpful things that it has to offer. The bad is heavy. It's heavy, but ultimately I have a hard time thinking that the good doesn't outweigh the bad.
Here's my thought on that. I think it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Reason being is all the kids that watch YouTube, all of them, or adults too, but let's talk about kids, 15, 16. If one thing triggered somebody not to commit bad thoughts or bad something to them, or to help one person, it's worth it.
Yeah, that's a good
You
point.
have to deal with all the bad, but if you can help one person, it may be a kid, a man, a woman, a grown-up, or whatever, if you can just help one person, that's good.
It is.
And you really can't take that away from anybody.
You're right.
So, you have
Very,
to
very
put up
true.
sometimes with the bad to enjoy the good. You have
right.
to. It's like that baseball bat I keep going back to. It's what you do with it.
Right.
But yeah, I would definitely say good.
Yeah,
You know?
that's a great answer,
Yeah.
actually, because, I mean, I think this is good. I like this show.
Yeah, it's fun.
I like what we do. And, maybe 10 years down the road, my daughter can go back and see, what was my dad like in his 20s? You know what I mean? And see that type of stuff.
Oh, Dad, look at you.
Yeah, look at you. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think that's cool. Let's see. Ms. Jenny says that will probably be in the closing comments. I enjoyed the different roads conversations go. They're laughing about the Coldplay concert. Yeah, that's so funny. Wow, sir, that was fun. That's a good conversation.
I enjoyed it. You know what I like to do? We want to go out on the road to restaurants and stuff. But you said we have to have 50 viewers on the subscribers.
50 subscribers.
We've got
Yeah.
like 32, so
Something
maybe we
like
can get
that,
a few
yeah.
more. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so that would be a whole lot of fun to go out and do that stuff. Because, we have so many similar views on things between you and I, but we have so many different ways of viewing them.
Right.
Just
And
coming
that's
from
what's
different.
fun.
It is fun.
I enjoyed that.
It is fun.
Yeah.
And so I
Bill
know.
Mike does too. He's got a different way. Miss Jenny.
Yeah,
I like
exactly right. There is a place. I think it's probably maybe like 30 minutes from here, I imagine. I sent you a video of it a few months ago. It's a little restaurant. You told me that you used to go there, and you actually knew the guy that was in the commercial for it. So South 21. South 21 Burgers. Yeah. I think it'd be pretty cool to go places like
I would
that.
too.
And it's new experiences for me.
I like that place in Stanley.
Oh,
little hamburger, that
yes.
little joint.
Mhm.
That was good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I get their blackened grouper.
Yeah,
That was
I got
wow.
shrimp.
Wow, that blackened grouper
Yeah.
was really good.
Yeah.
So that'd be a whole lot of fun, and just to have different experiences
It'd
like
be fun.
that.
Talk
Mhm.
about this. And maybe take some people with us.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I mean, they don't have to be on the camera, but just take some people with us.
Yeah, that'd be a whole lot of fun, actually. There's still a lot of cool things to do out there. A lot of cool things. Before the summer ends, we'll probably go to a drive-in theater, my wife and I.
Yeah.
We love drive-in theaters. I just think they're cool.
Yeah.
They're fun to do. And it's just kind of a classic American tradition.
Sure it is.
It's fun to do. So
I think the restaurant thing would be fun.
restaurants would be awesome.
I do.
I'd
I
enjoy
just think
that.
it'd be a whole lot of fun
Yes,
to get
sir.
out and do stuff.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, guys, it's about 7 past 8 o'clock now, so we went a little bit late today, but that was worth it. I think
Yeah,
that was just a
we
good
enjoyed that.
conversation. Fun to do. And I hope you all have a great rest of your evening. We'll be back here again next Tuesday at
Sounds good.
7:30 Eastern. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night.
Have
We'll
a
see
good
you
night,
next
guys.
time.